Yo.
Yay!
Arc to arc.
Yeah, arc to arc 12.
Damn,
Wait,
we've done a lot of these. Wow.
I think so. It's the number on the
14?
screen.
I think he is correct, because last time I noticed that the podcast made a perfect grid with the inclusion of an Anna in the middle, so therefore they must have been 11. They did a perfect 3x4 grid.
Wait, am I right or is he right?
I think.
I assume you're right.
I think you are right.
Okay. Whew, that was close. Almost
Yeah,
had to
that-
reconsider
yeah, that
everything
was-
I thought I knew
That was
about
scary.
society. But we're safe now. Yeah, Tokyo Ghoul.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
I
to
forgot
all.
if we even mentioned at some point that the cafe is named Re. Or if we forgot.
We did.
to mention.
We did mention it.
It comes up.
We did. Do not question me on this. Yeah. Anyway, the gang are giving a Christmas bash, and they invite over all our favorite investigators. Yes.
Yeah.
Glasses Man is here. Murder Daughter. Claude
Yeah.
Rain. I just did it, or McDonald.
Yeah, neat girl gets some good derpy faces and poses in this one.
She puts everything at the bottom of the Christmas tree
That makes a lot of sense. given
because
that
she's short, and then when she gets up on a ladder, she's like, "You're looking at my panties," even though she's wearing like leggings. I don't understand. She just says
I
that
don't understand.
because she's an autist. Who else shows up?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Eyebrows shows up.
Yeah, he's a surprise guest.
Yes, and he comes and he has a very lovely note at the end of the chapter where he talks about how much fun he had, and he's very impressed with everyone's video game skills and cooking skills.
He explains Mario Kart.
It is hilarious how much Urie hates him and how he's like the nicest man.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
That is how it goes. That was very
It's like us and John.
That was. I don't hate John. That was very like Pun Pun and that nice badminton guy.
Yeah.
It's the way of the world, I guess, for insecure people to hate very nice people. Yes. What else happens? Fucking Juzu shows up, but he's like wearing like a Halloween costume. It's like got like a vampire cape on.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Give me candy."
Yeah, trick or treat.
Yeah, trick or treat.
Even Dad shows up at one point.
That's right. Arima, Daddy Arima, and Mommy Makima.
You joke, but later it's confirmed that
yes, she is like the mother figure. Yeah. By committee. By committee.
They explicitly say, listen, Kaneki obviously has some kind of deep-seated mom complex, so lean into that as hard as you possibly can.
Yeah, it's hard to know.
Works.
I don't know what to believe in anymore. What other great stuff happened? I love
I
this.
like Mutsuki's shopping this way because it's so unspecific.
that was cute because she has like a little moment with Urie, and it's like this is just after Urie finds out that she's a girl, and so he kind of like allows him. He's like he's like softer and sweeter on her ever since he found out she's a girl, which I find funny. Because he's like such a hard ass about everything, but when it comes to her, he's like, oh, you know. We had that weird ghoul hug after I stabbed you, so I guess I'll get you some stupid groceries. I love the bit where they all get presents.
Yeah.
The Psycho gets a game.
Urazo gets a motorbike.
Model. yeah. I was like, what? He got some expensive headphones, which I appreciate as a headphone aficionado. And they don't know what to get Mutsuki, so they got her an eye patch, but it's like a proper one. And then. Yeah, the coolest part is when Heisei gets his mask, and then gets a book from Sen Takatsuki, the owl.
Yeah,
Very
it's like
cool.
interesting with the book. Like, given
Yeah,
that
I guess he didn't know how to I was confused whether he didn't know how to read or
Yeah,
spell his own
he does not
name.
know how to write Kaneki. Like,
But
that's
is it
the
right,
episode.
not read? So he knows the name is Ken Kan. I thought
Yeah,
it could
he just
be.
does not know how it's
Yeah,
spelled.
I was confused because in Japanese it could have been that he knew the
Yeah.
characters but didn't know how to read them, or he knew what the name was but didn't know how to write it. Yeah.
At one point, he doesn't even know where to split the words, isn't it?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, he's like,
Kaneki or Kaneka Neki. He's
yeah,
not sure.
something like that. Yeah, so very, very silly problem the Japanese have.
Yeah.
It could never happen here. Yeah.
Interesting little detail.
Yes. Fuck. Yeah, I like this chapter quite a lot, actually. I like seeing everyone hang out, have fun. And it's a nice little prelude. Yeah.
Did you like that stuff more than the regular Tokyo Ghoul stuff, Green?
Yes, it was a good chapter. My opinion on Tokyo Ghoul is just going to be 1-to-1. When it's people in suits explaining why they're going to do what they're about to do, or talking about RC cells, I'm bored. When they're having fun and being people, I'm liking it.
Or when there's cool action scenes happening.
I like the character things more. Fights can be good too.
Yeah,
it was Christmas.
The best.
That was fun.
The best is when they do cool character stuff during the fight scenes. Like we got some of it last stretch, like with Uta or whatever the fuck and stuff like that. Like that's the peak. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
I like the stories they tell about Arima, where he's like falling asleep during battle because
that's right. Yeah.
All the time, or killing a bull with an umbrella.
Yeah, that was. I forgot about that. That was good. Yeah.
Imagine having a group of people that just wax poetical about what a badass you were all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, he doesn't seem very. He's like nonplussed about it, really. As he is wont to do. What happens after this?
Then we have a 6-month time skip.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah, then everyone gets promoted to different ranks. His hair is more black and gets more and more black as it goes.
Doesn't fit him as well.
Yeah, it does get longer. Yeah, he kind of loses the trademark bowl cut. But can't have everything.
Realistic depictions.
Yes, exactly. He should grow a big beard. No, I'm kidding.
I wonder if he actually can.
I don't think he can. I do think it's kind of
Howard energy.
It's kind of weird that like the glasses guy gets promoted just for like directing. I mean, I understand it's like an important like part of the job, but it is kind of bullshit when other people have to kill ghouls to get promoted.
Yeah, that's the point. That's why the career people also all want to get in like those sorts of positions, because they are not really in danger.
All the images are from Facebook and they're blurry, but surprisingly, Mutsuki gets like double promoted.
Yeah.
For even though all they did was like cry on the floor and piss their pants.
She's a double Ifritur. Rank 1.
This is not Disco Elysium, but cool.
Yay, Josh, remember that.
I remember that too.
Oh, okay. You as well. I always like that thing in Disco Elysium, where if you pass up a promotion, you get a special little pin next to your title. Like, that's cool.
I love it. Yeah, I loved all that stuff in Disco.
Like a little bit too hard on Mutsuki. Like she gets promoted for
she did some Kagune stuff. Yeah.
And as what she did, but that she got the information for where the thing's happening and when, and for going in.
And as we find out, Mutsuki is now a badass. Who can fight with their knife, and bring out her Kagune. She's a lot more useful than the squad leader, that's for sure.
Because he has PTSD.
Because he just can't get hard anymore. It's very tragic. He's a limp dick.
It sucks. Some of his backstory, or most of his backstory.
Yes, that was very weird. That was like trippy. How like. That was like a weird thing. I don't think it's supposed to be connected. Okay, here's like a 3-4 point weird like constellation I was forming during this stretch. His sister has like a weird RC cell
oversecretion disease. Yeah,
problem, and has like a weird like tree thing come out of like her eye.
monstrous carbonate tumor thing.
Yes, and then this fucking the wrapped up like in bandages bitch we keep seeing since part 1, who I still don't know what the fuck they're called. The teleportation one, Etta. Okay, they have a Kagune that looks very similar to that and like speaks. So I was like, are they the same person?
No.
But then also I thought Eto kind of reminded me at the end when they had their bandages undone, kind of reminded me of the author.
Eto is the author.
Okay, I wasn't sure between the two of them because I hadn't seen their Kaguni. I had only seen them turned into a horrifying owl monster.
Yeah, like in the Kagune thing, we get pretty much Ishida's all-out explanation to what Kagune can do, and it's just limited by C-cell numbers and imagination. So basically now all bets are off, and Kagune can technically do anything.
Yeah, that was odd.
Okay,
so I connected a part of it, but the timeline felt off, so I was more betting on Takatsuki or whatever the fuck they're called. Going back a bit, what am I forgetting? Yeah, they got promotions, and then we got the cool it's hard. I mean, I don't know if I'm getting it in order. This stretch like jumps around a lot between like 3 or 4 different storylines.
They're kind of disconnected.
It's fine. The slowest and like more meticulous part than compared to other ones.
Yeah, I think I like this stretch more than most of the Re so far, honestly.
It's like one I like.
Here's my only problem with this stretch. I love everything with Shu. Because he's like one of my favorite guys, and I thought all that stuff was really well done and interesting. I thought this is an odd complaint, but I thought the art style took a dip, which is weird. I don't know if he was like rushed more during this section. At the beginning and at the end, it looks as good as usual. During the middle, there was like a 6-chapter stretch where it looked there was like the return of the jank and some kind of lazier panels, and I was like, oh no. What's going on? So that was kind of weird. I was worried that would continue. By the end, the final chapters looked nicer again. Yeah, like during that fight in the parking garage, there was some very odd looking like off model. I wondered if like he had got like an assistant to draw like Urie and stuff looked weird, and then he was back to normal again. There's definitely something going on here. My spidey senses were going off.
The opposite. Like I thought at least the fight choreography was better here than in the beginning of Re.
The shot where he like stops the I don't think so. I think there was like the return of like there were finally like pages again where I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like there was like certain pages where Shirazu was firing his missiles and Yuri was flying around, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? There's like just like this like weird effects. The shot where he like blocks the blade for Mutsuki, it's like a cool composition idea, but like the drawing looked like really weird, and his face looked like weirdly like ooh anime. It was very strange. I was like, what is going on? So I don't know what the fuck was up there. That kind of bugged me. I like all the character stuff though. I like that was a great section when he goes to get the masks done. I really love that. We get to see Uta again outside of. I mean, we saw him, but he was being like a weird murderer man. And then there was he has a great conversation. I never considered that like his eyes being tattooed as clever because he looks like a ghoul like all the time. So it's like you couldn't tell when his eyes go dark because he already has like ink in his eyes. That's kind of clever.
I think what he's doing, he's just saying he has ink in his eyes and just.
Do you think so? But but doesn't he always have his eyes like that though?
Yeah, because I think he does it intentionally.
Can ghouls always be in like the bloody ghoul mode?
It's less of a bloody ghoul mode, but more like I think they can do it intentionally.
Okay, he just does that. Okay, I wasn't sure. I mean, he could have just like, I thought it was just like a weird body mod thing to cover up when he goes. Like that would be a clever like double bluff sort of thing. But anyway, all that stuff was great when they go to get their masks done. I really loved that, like, the paneling and everything was very cool, where you got like the same kind of composition for every character, and his name is Uta, right? I'm not crazy. His was like the pose that was changing, and then everyone else was just like in profile, and he does like little fun comments on them. He like notices Mutsuki as a girl, pretty much. He like predicts Uri's personality, and then he's like, "I'm gonna make you a weird mask," and he's like, "Okay." He asks Shirazu who he likes, and then he imagines the girls. That's funny.
Yep.
This is like, "Oh, you're like a little goblin to Psycho," and she's like, "Yes."
And when she lists her
interest, she says sleep like 50 times. Yeah. She says like sleep and nap and sleep and nap.
Eat and play video games. Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff is all great. And then there was a cute little panel at the end of the chapter where he's like at the cafe, and he's like, "I became friends with Sasaki," and the guy's like, "What?"
Yep.
So yeah, I like all these things.
He almost recognizes him, or at least
that was scary when she's like, "Oh, this voice."
Yeah.
The situation of Hinami was a little weird.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, she's in prison.
Yeah,
basically.
she's like in Ghoul custody, but they're gonna
the same role right now as Donato is, where they keep her alive for information.
But it's like Donato is like much more useful than her. It's like a weird, like, it's like a kennel. And after a bit, they put down the ghouls.
They keep them for as long as they're useful, and I think there's also like a maximum thing, unless they're like super important. Like Donato has been there for years, so he's like special. But
and this is where we meet Yoko Taro, creator of Nier.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who saw him as Yoko Taro.
I'm 100% sure that he is inspired by Yoko Taro.
It would seem like it. Again, he also is. This kind of drifted out after a bit, but he is also kind of a return to the Hellsing thing in a way. He kind of reminds me a lot of like the Major from Hellsing, and he's got those vibes. The way he's always tipping his hat and got the gloves on. He's part of, what are they called? Cochlea, is it?
Cochlea is the prison.
Yeah,
he's an interrogator.
Yes, and he is a hard ass. He's a crazy, kooky guy. He talks all the time about how he's ugly, and so he doesn't care what happens to him. And he makes like a snuff film to propagate on the internet to get the rose to move, and he just doesn't give a fuck. He's kind of funny.
it kind of semi works. But
that's what he says. Yeah.
I wasn't that interested in him. It's like, okay, another quirky guy. Yeah,
I don't think he's great. I just think he's just a fun addition to just get the story moving.
Actually from a video game that was only released in Japan.
Oh, that's
Nier.
Another character.
Nier.
What?
He said Nier was the video game that he's from.
No, not from Nier. From Tokyo Ghoul Jail. And another character that we see, the weird-ass clown that is going on Psycho.
The one with all the like stitches and stuff. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. Like those two characters are connected in the game, and the manga basically is the canon route of what happens in the game.
Did Suishida design them for the game?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure. Okay. I haven't played it. I only know stuff by osmosis.
That was kind of weird. How just like Psycho just gets accosted by this random ghoul, so we can just have Amon show up and save.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that last time, that a weird hooded figure is stalking about.
Yeah, which I keep skirting around this WordPress one. I made this connection immediately because I remembered this cover. This chapter cover very distinctly from part 1, where Amon has got like the hood, the hood, the baggy hood and cloth over him, and I was like, that's probably him, and I was right, it is him. Also, the 3 fingers, I forgot, did he get his hand sliced in the fight with Kaneki? I couldn't remember. Okay, that's just more for to congratulate fans who pay more attention than I did. Yeah, I mean, Amon is cool. I'd like to see him.
Only see him for a moment. Yeah, I think we're just trying to go through it in order. I think it after the whole promotion stuff, we have like Kanae's problem.
Stuff with Kanae and Shu. Yeah, Shu is not taking the breakup well. And he has pledged his allegiance to the monster mash. And he has become the spooky, scary skeleton man.
Yeah, has to be restrained by Kanae. And we get this. I find this scene like over the top and silly, where Kanae runs in through to the forest and bashes his head on it.
Yeah, that was very comical. He runs head first into a tree and says "Haas, Haas."
Yeah, and that's like a little bit over the top.
Kanae is a very like. I don't know how I feel about him. He's kind of.
I mean, he's in the same sort of personality realm as Tsukiyama, where he's just
but exactly. But that's like kind of why he bugs me, because he's like a less interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's just let's do it again. We just need another one.
I guess so, but it's like also his motivations are like. I get that Shu is like Tsukiyama is like a very cool dude. Who he kind of has like a magnetic charisma to him, but really like
we will get more of it in the next.
Yeah, we got like a bit of a flashback, and we got like.
You say that I feel like I would have beaten him to death with a tire iron within 5 minutes of meeting him, but that's just me.
Yeah, but if he was like taking you in after your whole family was murdered, maybe you would like. I get like the loyalty, but this guy just goes to like ridiculous fucking lengths. And like is just like in love with him and wants to fuck him, and it's like okay.
Yeah, things get a little bit more interesting. We see like the beginning of the stuff when he ends up in Eto's care, and that is a little bit spooky.
I mean, he doesn't seem to be doing so well by the end, where he's got his eyes and mouth like sutured together. That's not good.
It's like really good, like both those pages. I really like them.
Yeah, but that
texture wall.
Yeah, with the clocks everywhere. Yeah, that was odd. Yeah, we got this a bit at the end of the last stretch, but yeah, the guy who was at the auction is Mr. Tsukiyama.
He's probably my favorite minor character in the entire series.
Yeah, he's very he's quite amusing. I like him, and he's like just a ghoul who's worried about his son.
Yeah, just shouting out of the window.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I completely lost my composure.
Yes. And he's
so good.
His little wine cellar. I'm glad he's happy that his son is like moving around after he sees the photos. Yeah. That was very nice. Yeah, I like all that stuff was like my favorite stuff, like him meeting with Heisei. Yeah, like he goes from like wheelchair bound to getting up, and then he keeps trying to get time with him, but the Q's intervene. It's very comical. He's like
very silly once again.
I love that.
Hiding under the stairs.
Yes, like that. And I love that moment where he's like, I know him better than anyone. I bet you like the author. Yeah, and he's like, actually, no, this personality thinks they're too gloomy and they're kind of cringe. Yeah, and it's like, what?
That's like a really cool. I'm not sure if you could call it a detail, but it's a cool thing that Heisei and Haneke have like a different opinion on that.
Yeah, have different tastes. I mean, it's because it's interesting because Kaneki was a huge fan of that author before all the Ghoul stuff, and then Heisei, and Heisei is like much more of a chipper, like happy-go-lucky personality than initial Kane, and especially than Kaneki, and especially than fucking white hair. Let's murder them all, Kaneki. So, but it's funny because he kind of seems to not like it because it kind of reminds him sort of like more painful things in a weird subconscious way.
He also points out how Takasugi always has like important people or the main character die, and technically that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens with the character. Yeah, that's what, I thought that was very amusing. That's like, yeah, that was a very neat detail. And then yeah, Tsukiyama keeps getting cock blocked, so he goes to the cafe. I love that Tsukiyama like misses everyone. That was like my favorite touch. Like. Yeah. Tsukiyama isn't just like, oh, I miss Kaneki, or even or the obvious like I want to eat him, like, which is what Kane thinks the deal is. Like that, though the breakdown is because he won't get to eat him. It's like, no, it's like he misses Hinami. He mentions fucking Banjo. I was like, oh my god. It's like he just reminisced about the good old days and how fun they were.
Yeah, it's funny. He seems to be, he has some normal impulses. He just only knows how to show affection through cannibalistic lust.
Yeah. But then he's like super kind to other people, like in the periphery. Like he's like super invested in this Rose, like servant girl whose significant other got kidnapped by Yoko Taro. Yes. And he's like very kind, obviously, to Little Mouse, as they say.
He was nice to Hinami back in the day.
Yeah, he's a layered character, I guess. I love that moment when this panel I'm showing where Kane just like shouts really loud, and then I just call her Mouse, just as like that. Look at it, like yes, she's just like very unemotional and weird.
And she's so unfazed by anything.
Yeah, she's very amusing like that. Like she just commits crimes and runs around and is like doesn't give a shit and is like not scared. Yeah. She's like a little like middle schooler human in the middle of like this ghoul world. I assume she's a human.
I do want to call attention to something.
Yes.
There is a very big difference in Re with how afraid ghouls are of humans compared to the original Tokyo Ghoul.
Do you mean
can you imagine
humans are afraid of ghouls or ghouls are afraid of humans?
No, the ghouls being afraid of humans.
Yeah.
Ghouls were terrified of ghoul hunters.
Yeah, that's
in the first one. Yeah. Can you imagine a ghoul having this bizarre pseudo like rom-com moment where they're crawling along the ground towards a group of ghoul hunters being like, oh, it's that guy, come back.
Well, multiple times during this stretch, Heisei just like acknowledges people are ghouls and is just like cool with it.
Ask him in broad daylight, hey man, are you a ghoul? And he doesn't say no.
And everyone notices Uta is a ghoul. Like the whole like thing doesn't really. It's like they're playing like this weird like I won't tell if you won't thing, and it's like, well, that's just making allegations worse because
it's the old school gangster thing where the cops and the mafia kind of know each other.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's like that's just gonna come bite you in the ass because like multiple members of the Doves like already consider Heisei a ghoul and are like already like conspiring or trying to curtail his efforts due to this, and Heisei wants to like court this by literally like fraternizing with ghouls and wearing a ghoul mask and just like running around and is a ghoul anyway, and it's like you're just gonna get murdered by Arima is gonna keep resetting you by poking you in the brain and making a new character for Tokyo Ghoul Re.
This is a silly. I actually wonder if there's any connection here, but early Tokyo Ghoul, it actually reminded me of the first Matrix movie. Remember the first Matrix movie? They're saying we run, we hide, we escape, and we can't fight them. Everyone who's fought them died.
Entity.
Yeah, and then it's just assumed that they're going to die if they fight. Then in the second one, Neo's literally flying around on the freeway, blowing shit up.
Neo fights 100 Agent Smiths like it's nothing.
That's kind of what's going on with the ghouls, where it's went from being, oh, the Doves are the omen of death, to it's just this, it's like the Sharks and the Jets. They're this rival gang. We get in fights. We bicker over girls and drugs and booze,
I guess the Doves literally like allowing ghouls into their ranks may have like grade the waters somehow.
There's only one.
There are humans on the ghoul side. There are ghouls on the human side. There's Amon going around. It's all a big muddle now.
And it's not even like it's just a ghoul. You
it's
know,
all the cues
Kaneki
ghouls,
gets the
kinda.
scene where he's going around going, "Man, I really hope I didn't kill your dad."
And your boyfriend.
Yeah, you know,
I'm
every
sorry I
important
murdered your
person other
boyfriend.
than Arima is dead because of me.
Kinda, yeah. And then in the middle of it, we get a nice scene of Eyebrows guy meeting a middle school friend at a bakery.
Yeah,
I was like,
that,
what?
like,
What the
yeah,
fuck is...
that must be confusing. Like if you don't keep characters in mind and stuff. The girl is Toker's friend from high school.
What?
Oh, the soup lady.
God damn it! This is so... yeah, this is confusing because... Okay, this is something Tokyo Ghoul does constantly, which really pisses me off. I know it's not Tokyo Ghoul's fault. In the same scene, one character will use the first name and the other one will use the last name of the same character. So in the span of 2 pages, you get like 10 names. Like, just when I'm starting to remember who is who. So I can never remember, like, the guy...
And like nicknames as well.
Yeah, like the new... Like, the guy who was... Fuck, the guy who doesn't want to go forward with the ghoul mask operation. That was the guy who was on the roof with with the Juzo.
Yeah, with Juzo and
with Juzo fighting Owl, and now he's like a hotshot Arima protege, and I can never remember his name, and I can remember the cute girl he comes with. Great character design, by the way.
Yeah, she's great.
I love the droopy eyes, and I love that hairstyle, and I like that she's like a moron.
Who's also incredibly badass.
She gets distracted by Yoko Taro like praising her for being good, and literally fucks up unless people get away. And then she like interjects on, like she's like really like weirdly disrespectful. Where she like doesn't use honorifics and she like curtails the other guy's plans and then gets made fun of for being like a bumpkin. Yeah, that was all very funny.
I really like her character.
Yeah, she's cool. Yes, it's the doves are also like accruing more and more like very strong characters. In part 1, there were a couple of doves that were quite strong. But it always felt much more like so many doves just died unceremoniously, where they just got like sliced in half. Now it feels like there's a lot more powerful doves that are like close to Arima level. Just a point.
Do you feel that way?
I think so. Like, she's very overpowered in her fight. I just like in the initial. In the first part, until we get Arima shows up, early on it's just like Mado is like a strong guy, Amon is like okay, and then we have like the 2 guys in the armor.
And Kurosawa.
And then Suzuya shows up, and of course they're badass, but they're not really that strong initially. And now I feel like they've, not just with the cues, but they've just like added lots of characters from the previous parts have gotten like stronger. We have rookies who can tear the heads off of ghouls. Like there's a lot of like, I feel like there's like as many strong doves as there are like S rank ghouls. Like it feels much more even. Somehow, in the first part, it felt like the only way doves could really defeat ghouls, except for hunting down one. Like if it was like a large scale thing, they just had to throw huge numbers of fodder that were all expected to die to even kind of make a dent. Now it feels like we have multiple doves that could take on many ghouls at once and do. I'm not saying one is necessarily worse than the other. It just feels very different.
It's like a shift.
Yeah, exactly.
They're kind of doing. It seems like what they're going for is almost without thinking about it, the doves are going to get less and less human to the point where the difference between them and the ghouls kind of becomes meaningless.
Yeah, I understand. Like technology has also advanced in like this like couple of years. Like it seems the doves have like lots of new tricks up their sleeves, and they understand kind of ghoul stuff more. In the last one, it almost felt like the doves thing was like crumbling, kind of, because so many like sections had fallen to the ghouls. There had been these insane ambushes where so many agents were killed. It almost felt like it was like crumbling. Now it feels like very the doves are more in control, and the ghouls are kind of like very, very scared to go into certain sectors. Yeah, it's which is, I mean, fine. I mean, fine. Eradicate all the ghouls. Do it.
Yeah, this is going from, I don't know, supernatural genocide, war of extermination, pest control to the doves are just cops now. They just do
it's
silly
more
cop
like
things.
cops, and there's like a couple criminals, and they kind of get away with stuff occasionally. It's like, I don't know.
Also, the doves, they're not consistently killing people this time around. They're doing sting operations. They're putting on funny disguises and hats.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of like
goofy costumes.
There's a lot more of like ghouls getting away, and even when they lose, a lot of them just get taken alive and put in prison. Yes.
Yeah.
We still get some murder, don't get me wrong. Yeah. I mean, we got plenty of ghouls died in the last stretch, like Naki's bros. Thankfully, who are coming back. Yeah.
As if.
Yeah, go on. You say stuff.
Oh,
please.
real quick. I did find it funny where when Kaneki brings up the mask plan, they say, "You made us dress as women, and now we're dressing as ghouls now. What the fuck? Where does this end, Kaneki?"
Just loves getting in disguise and like infiltrating areas. I was going to say, I don't remember. Dang, it was a really cool point.
I'm sure it was.
Yes, I love that we get to meet the guy who tortured Jason.
Oh yes, yeah. This is like our proper introduction to him. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was him at first, but then he does the snap, and I was like, I pointed at the screen like Leonardo DiCaprio. And then when the other white suits show up, they also do the thing, and I'm like, the meme continues. Literally, like, it is a meme.
It is a meme. There's a lot of characters who do it.
A meme of cruelty.
Yeah, I was stupid for a moment. With the mask, I went, "Hey, it's like Jason from the show." It's like, oh yeah, right. That's just.
Yeah. Although I did hop on the art, I want to call attention to the amazing drawing of Tsukiyama when he turns around and is crying, and it is the corpse. And I like when he looks up in the air. I like all the Tsukiyama stuff, I guess.
Yeah, like I didn't like Tsukiyama much on my first reading of just Tokyo Ghoul, but I really started to like him with the stuff he gets in.
Yeah, I really, I liked him. I started liking him a lot in the middle of OG. He's like one of my favorite characters for sure. Yeah, his initial thing was very like silly, where he does like the whole like courting Kaneki, and they're like taking him to a ghoul restaurant, and then he kidnaps Nishiki's girlfriend, and is like in a church. That was all kind of okay, but then after that he became like a very, like you said, Hisoka. I like him a lot. But he's
kind of reaching Orochimaru levels of why haven't they killed this guy yet?
That's true. When he walks into the cafe and he's like, "Yo, everyone," and Nishiki's here, it's like Nishiki must feel very weird, because this is like the guy who almost killed him and his girlfriend, and then he was like comforting him on the roof as he cried at the end of Tokyo Ghoul, and now he just like comes in, they're like, "Yo, what's up?" And he's like, "Yeah, you guys know about the amnesia thing, right?" He's like, "Yep." Like, don't want to do it the better? No, not really. And they're like, fuck you guys, I'm going.
No one informed him.
Why no one let me know? Yeah, they didn't even know he was like alive. They were like, "Oh, what's up?"
They didn't try to.
They haven't seen him in a couple of years. Yeah, I mean, he is like a psycho. I mean, I know they're all murderers, but he's like, even amongst ghouls, he is.
But he's the bad kind of murderer.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes, he murders for the wrong reasons.
Indeed.
Yeah, you have to murder for love.
So it was also comical, the same as that. Maybe it's like poetry. Those are very comical drawings, like the same as Kane running into the tree, like Tsukiyama like rolling his wheelchair down and like falling on his face, and then he gets up and he's like, "Ah!" And it's like, "I must go."
I can't really overstate my relief that they're progressing the amnesia plot rather than just
that stuff. Yeah, that's great.
I was so ready for that to go another 80 episodes.
Yeah, it could have milked it for sure.
What do you think about the mention of the caterpillar fungus to describe Kaneki and his inner Kaneki situation?
I like it. I mean,
this guy loves his edgy metaphors. He's always going to come up.
And he loves his like insects and real nature stuff like that. I was aware of I believe, isn't that the cordyceps? Isn't that what it's called? Yeah, I was aware of this from playing The Last of Us as a youth. Of course. I was like, I think I was like 13 or something when it came out. I guess I was a bit older, 16 or something.
Too old to be playing such games.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of The Last of Us now, but yeah, when I played it as a young man, I was like, wow, that's cool. Yeah, it's famously the fungus that not only does it like pop out of the thing at the top, it like steers it around. And then it's very funny because it steers the ants, usually it's ants, like to a new ground, and then very Nausicaä, it funguses the whole thing and uses that to make more spores to continue the cycle. It's very satisfying. Yes, also a very great creature to question God's creation of all living things, to ask him, what the fuck would you make something like this? For what purpose?
How dare you?
How does this fit into the divine plan? I know, I'll make a fungus that causes excruciating agony to insects and just propagates itself endlessly for no reason and to no benefit to mankind. Yes, very cool. But yes. Yeah. What else happens? The fight. There's a fight.
It kind of comes to the conclusion that the Queen Squad is in the way.
Yes, in order to prevent Tsukiyama from continuously getting cock-blocked, he hires Aogiri Naki thugs to try and attack the queues, which is a very clever move, except that it backfires horribly.
It doesn't work at all.
Yeah, every single one of them, except for Psycho, and I guess the limp dick can't do shit. But
I think Psycho's the only person who gets injured in.
Yeah. But yeah, we get that is a kind of jank, but the composition makes it work. I
really like this one, although
I don't know what the fuck is going on with the
series.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the fucking face. Like, what face is he making? I don't know. But I like the thing of him seeing him as a snake. That was like all my favorite stuff during that fight was to do with Urie, because he has been fucking our bro's been hitting the gym.
It's explained that that Ghoul, that half ghouls and Quinke become stronger. Like it strengthens their regeneration when they get injured. And so he trains to a point where he just injures his muscle over and over.
That's kind of how working up your muscle works. Anyway, like you kind of tear your muscle and it grows back stronger.
He literally obviously was on the bodybuilding forum or shit.
He went on there and he had a lengthy discussion about how many days were in a week, but no conclusion was reached.
Yeah.
and then he came out very angry and was like, "I'll show you." And one of my favorite touches during that fight is he specifically wants to break Kane's neck because he's so.
Oh, you mean the fight in Tokyo Ghoul, not the bodybuilding?
No,
forum.
Not that one. That one, everyone wanted to break everyone's neck, and I'm still not sure who won. Yeah, but he wants, because he keeps wanting to one up Eyebrows guy. He's like, I will break his neck with my hands, and that's kind of what lets Kane escape, really.
Yeah.
And then he does a cool, again, I think his attitude's really changed since knowing Mutsuki's a girl, because he White Knight blocks the attack from Torso. Not from Torso, sorry, from the other one, from the fucking... the Grave Robber, yeah. That was a weird addition. I do like Torso as like a recurring villain. I think he's had a very entertaining arc where he's gone like from taxi driver to Aogiri, now he's the Aogiri driver. And now he's just like in love with Mutsuki, watching her grow, and just becoming more and more enamored. He likes the haircut. He likes that she's strong. He's like, by her. Yeah. He's like we're clashing blades. This is very arousing. I like that guy. And then Urie that's also, I like the arc that he becomes so impressed with Heisei's combat prowess that he like starts training with him, and he kind of goes from like he kind of softens a bit on Heisei because he's so obsessed with one-upping eyebrows guy that he's like, I will do whatever it takes.
Beat them, join them, sort of thing.
I love Urie, like he's my favorite, and I like him. I mentioned him, like the stuff I like about him in previous podcasts, like him being a painter and stuff, but I like his outlook on life is very like similar to like younger me when I was more ambitious. And he like looks down on a lot of people. Like I like that scene where he like looks at just people hanging around and he's like, you useless fucks, go through your life never achieving anything, fucking losers. Then he's like,
commenting on the video that
Jima... and he criticizes Shirazu so hard that he makes him get a haircut. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, another very Japanese thing.
Yeah, it's hilarious that he looks like he's like, he has like a very long neck, very long like muscly neck, and when he shaves his hair, he looks like a weird bald shark man, but he still has the tiny little apple thing on his head. It looks very comical, kind of. He now even he still reminds me a lot of Denji from Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it's not just the spiky teeth. Yeah. He's just this goofy guy. He's trying. He's trying to use his nutcracker. That was a very good. I probably won't be able to find it, but that was a great drawing when he tries to use the Kinkei, and then you see Nutcracker that was very like Soul Eater. Like she appears above his head, grabbing around his neck, and he's just eyes, and it's like very cool. I was like, that was one of the artistic shots that stood out to me.
That one's a good one. Yeah, and we get I already mentioned that earlier, parts of his backstory. We see that his father committed suicide by hanging, and that Shirazu has to take care of his younger sister, and that's why he is a Quinks, to get money to pay for her treatment.
Yeah, that was interesting. Oh, there's
this little thing, like the reason, or part of the reason why he seems to have PTSD now is because his sister says the same things that Nutcracker said before she died, that she just wants to be beautiful.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that. Yeah, you're right. Dang, that's clever. I also like seeing everyone's masks. Once again, like Urie's one was very Dark Souls. It's like a pointy knight mask, and he can like lift the visor like an old timey knight. He has like Shirazu has like a spiky tooth one. Mutsuki gets an eye patch on the other side of her head, like Kaneki did. Yeah, I remember comment. Yeah, so those were all very cool. I hope to see more of the masks.
I feel like we're nearing a stopping point here, and
I think we're
trying not to go super long. So probably any final thoughts?
Yeah, the CCG does manage to find the connection between the Rosewald and the Tsukiyama family, and they are setting up the extermination for the Tsukiyama family, and that's pretty much where it ends. And Tsukiyama's dad brings coffee to Tsukiyama, and I like how he said, your coffee wakes me up like completely, and then he just
Oh, and real quick, we didn't mention we get to see Dr. Kano again, and we've mentioned before that sometimes he draws certain characters very similar. When I first saw him, I thought he was the manager from Antico again, because he's like a bit older, and I was like, oh, is that him? And then it's like, oh no, that's the other, and he calls him like old man.
Also like wearing like a Hawaiian shirt or something. It's
he has like a Hawaiian shirt on. Yeah.
If I never hear the name Rize again, it'll be too fucking soon.
Yeah, he's like, I made like 1,000 Rize clones, but only 3 stuck. This is when the artwork got very nice again. I liked all the shots in this for some reason. And it's hilarious that he's just explaining this to Naki, the dumbest character.
Yeah, who doesn't understand shit.
Naki's like, what is any of the words you're saying? And he's like, never mind. Whatever.
Fuck it.
I like your magic words, magic.
He's like, oh, what? You'll bring my friends back to life? Awesome. And he's like, yeah, sure.
In a way.
In a way. He's like, I don't care. La la la.
I'll get you a pony too.
Yes.
Yeah, and we get the confirmation of what has happened or is happening to Yoshimura, to the manager. He's still in that tank and getting his Carbono farmed.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we all have bad days.
Fuck this
Yeah,
shit.
all bad years.
Bad lives, but who's counting? Oh, hey, there we go.
Kurosawa has a bad life because he's a silly, silly man.
Yeah, Michi, are you relieved that we're already moving into the next stage of the story?
Are we though? Like,
what? Yeah.
I don't know. I keep expecting him to fuck up and just lose all the respect again. I mean, he's kind of done this before, and he kind of almost does by like being a little bitch. So
yeah, but just to say, but I think we're getting amazing progress right off the bat because the end. This is not going to become you guys turning me on Kurosawa. Damn it! I will bend you to my will.
Yeah.
I'll fight you to the bitter end.
Yeah, you will find us
what it's about.
I really don't. I don't really get Kurosawa, man. I don't know what he's going for a lot of the time. I just scratch my head.
As a work or as a person?
Just the author is so weird. Like in the way that he like conveys stuff. I often find myself thinking more that he is like kind of a comically silly human more than I do find myself like nodding along to be like,
he's probably just like this.
Yeah, he's just like silly old man who doesn't really understand things, like writing this manga. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, I think this is really intentional. Like,
let me tell you how the world is, kids. And I'm like, okay, boomer.
hey. But
these kids, they're playing on their Game Boys. This means nothing to them. They're all comically playing
in a car
at the same
kidnapping
time
someone. They don't even have the decency to look them in the eye. They lured an old man in with the prospect of teenage pussy.
That was amazing. When he was weighing the pros and cons. He's like, she's a middle schooler, but then he's like, hang on, maybe her going with a 40-year-old man like me is better because I will defend her from getting advantage taken. And then he's like picturing them dropping them off at a love hotel and being like, don't go too hard on her, old man. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What am I supposed to get from this?
Okay, let's slow down. Let's slow down.
Slow down, yes.
But the end of the first arc is Kurosawa has, a moment of vulnerability, and his coworkers finally take an interest in him, where they still think he's kind of creepy and weird and old and fat and gay, but
he's very funny.
But it's transitioned from this guy's just a creep, let's stay away, to get a load of this crazy motherfucker who you don't know what he'll do.
Yeah,
he's a loose cannon.
It's transitioned from cringe to my man.
My man. He's become a wacky side character in the sitcom that is their lives.
Kramer.
Yeah, like Kramer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually where Kramer would do this.
He's back on the construction site, thankfully, and now everyone says hi to him, and the thankfully what is he called, like Teto, the robot man has a scarf.
Oh, Taro.
I think it's just
Taro.
Taro
is all good. And they go out drinking, and of course he just gets ridiculously fucking drunk because he's a moron.
And Kurosawa transitions from being the weird shy guy that doesn't say anything to now he's just holding court. He's dominating the conversation.
Yes, by letting everyone make fun of him.
Very
in equal
awkward
measures. Yeah. Yes,
he's got stuff going on.
He's essentially a virgin, and it's very funny. And everyone.
Yeah, he used. Yeah,
they paid $50
it's an awkward question.
to like a high schooler I guess, to bone him.
He was in high school too, to be fair.
I know,
he didn't do this 2 weeks ago.
No. Yeah, no, I get that. When he was in high school, but that also makes it sadder because he hasn't had sex since he was in high school. It's been a very long dry spell for him. And he's very insecure about it, apparently.
Yeah, and of course, one of the guys just leans over and says, "I've always wanted to ask this. Have you ever had sex, Mr. Kurosawa?"
And then they have like this extended sequence where they imagine him as a dinosaur, and whoever this Casablanca bitch is another dinosaur, and they just laugh their asses off while he's rolling around in the bathroom.
They're thinking of women in their lives who might plausibly go out with him. And it is not a large pool of people.
Yes. And I am reading this, and I'm like, man, I feel bad for everyone. I'm like, this sucks.
Well, life is hard. That's what Kurosawa's about. It teaches you about how hard life is, and you can fight anyway.
Can you? Or can you get the shit kicked out of you and nearly get killed?
You'll understand someday, my child.
You get the oldest looking middle schoolers ever as screen told.
Yeah, okay. First, he does get very drunk. He also starts just saying weird things where he tries to have way too much intimacy too quick.
Yeah,
at one point he just yells,
"I want to have a woman."
Well, at one point he yells, "We're a family, goddammit!" And they're like, "No, we're not. We're men on a construction site.
We're at a family restaurant. Yeah, we are a family." Yeah.
Oh yeah, he goes on a diatribe about how the name family restaurant discriminates against old men like him. God damn it, he's a beautiful person.
He has a lot of weird thoughts during this stretch. Like, I didn't think he was this weird during the first bit. I thought he was more like a boring loser because I thought that was part of his problem. But then he has very weird thoughts, like his whole thing about being a beast who's gonna fuck some. Skipping ahead a bit, when he is dying and supermodels flash, like idols flash in his brain. And I'm like, what? These horrible drawings.
And of course,
author.
I looked them up, and of course they are all real supermodels that existed. As if there was any doubt. I'm sure you weren't that worried.
I'm sure the book he mentions is also a real book too, that the author just happened to read at some point. The Sento's like animals I have known or something. Yes, that.
Yeah, but
very. I just don't. I just don't understand. I guess I just don't understand.
It's sort of like very overthinking type where you go extremely like you start in one direction and then you just keep going and go extremely wrong.
Like how he like fantasizes that stuff is gonna go okay when he's in the car, but then he has to be like, what am I fucking talking about? They're gonna kick the shit out of me. And then they come out of the car and it's like a goofy subversion where it looks like they do want to play baseball with him, but then it's like extortion and they kick the shit out of him with baseballs and then they beat him up anyway.
And to rewind ever so slightly, after his drunken rampage, this is great too. There are various people in the restaurant who overhear him just being a boomer and spouting
like
his boomer wisdom. And some people are just literally inspired by him. There's some hapless fuck in a worthless job, basically a kaiji extra.
Isn't that afterwards? That's afterwards.
But no, well, it's still at the restaurant. I'm just talking about restaurant stuff because the youths are causing a scene and just being dumb teenagers. And then Kurosawa just grabs them and starts giving them the business, and they back off because they don't want to fight him there. And this is interpreted by everyone as Kurosawa is such a badass that he can talk to street toughs and set them straight, not realizing that this is not fucking over.
The ironic thing is that, like, if he wasn't such a weirdo and just knew like some basic fighting, he probably could take them because we know he's like ridiculously strong and he's like a fridge of a man, but he just has like, he's just hapless and just has no idea like what the fuck to do.
He's
Like, I really don't feel like a baseball bat is that big of a deal against him. Like, if he hadn't been like on the floor being a silly guy and played along with the whole baseball thing, if he had just like when the first one swung, he just like grabbed their arm or hit the baseball bat and just armed himself, he would have just killed all those kids. Like,
I mean,
we'll test this in
he tries to once he's been pelted with really hard baseballs and is in the mud crawling around, he tries to do a samurai catch, again keeping up with the samurai imagery, and just gets bashed in the head.
Right.
Reeling back slightly.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to get to this part. He has the moment where he mouths off to the stupid teenager.
Yes.
And
he
sits back
like a moron
everyone in the restaurant thinks he's a hero. The restaurant is actually full of random worthless fucks whose lives are not going well, who all just kind of look over and go, "Oh my god, this guy's such an inspiring badass. Look at him right now. I could be more like him if I believed in myself."
But he just did it accidentally because he was very drunk and he thought they were like friends.
Kind of. It's the hero's journey. There's the refusal of the call.
Yeah, this is exactly the hero's journey. You're right.
It's a type of journey.
The going after the middle schooler. And then
he goes outside and a car pulls up and a girl who's probably like 14 from context.
He says middle schooler. He does not say high schooler. He says middle schooler.
He says middle schooler, which I'm guessing that's what, 13 through 15, maybe,
younger than
at the
16.
high end.
Younger than 16.
Who this is, and I mentioned this the other time when I said there are two or three moments in Kurosawa where even for him you just go, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
One of them is
on the bench with a child.
One of them is the accidental kidnapping knife sharpening scene. This is the next one. You'll probably realize when we're at the third one. But yeah, the thing is, he's getting honeypotted and he doesn't miss a second. He barely sees this girl and her flirting with him. He's immediately has the devil and the angel on his shoulder going, should I do it? Yes. Should I fuck this middle schooler? It's like, well, she's middle school. That comes right after elementary school. That's fucked up. But what if I don't get another chance like this again?
I haven't had sex
Who knows?
in so long. It's
and then he starts rationalizing, I bet the type of person this girl would date is a bigger creep than me, so I might be doing her a favor by going out with her.
I would be a tender, understanding lover. Yeah. And he's like, but he just like awkwardly stands outside of the car for so long that like his friends have time to get back, and the girl in the car is like, dude, are you getting in or what? He's just like on the street, like in real time having this clash. Just being like, I don't know. And it's clearly a trap.
Yeah, and he kind of knows it's a trap. It just takes him. He goes through this whole extended fantasy sequence of imagining the teenagers heroically carting him off to a sex hotel with this underage
Well, in the
girl.
car, he goes through like all the stages of like grief in his brain, where he goes like through he's like, these guys are worthless. Fucking stupid idiots who aren't talented or clever and just waste their time in but hang on, I'm also a worthless piece of shit. But no, these guys are worse because they want to take out their frustration and ennui by beating me up. It's like, don't you kids know life is hard and empty for everyone, and we don't all take it out on everyone else, and god damn it, I'm trapped in a car because I wanted to fuck a middle schooler, and they're all playing on their fucking Game Boys, and no one gives a shit.
To be fair, they grab him and push him into the car because he's standing there awkwardly.
They do, but that's
he's lost
he
in
took
thought
so
imagining
long.
all the different universes that this could go to.
Yes.
It's a small mitigating factor in his favor. It's not like he jumped in the car.
I know.
But he was standing there stroking his chin going, what a complex moral dilemma this is.
But even at various points, he could have just started a shit show in the car, and he would have done far better.
I'm imagining that scene in real life where you just have those 4 middle schoolers and one is driving the car. Like, it just doesn't work well.
Yeah, I don't understand. I think the
Yeah,
author,
the live action movie is.
really
we'll get there when we get there.
I get the feeling the author really is insane, and like Kaiji was like when he was the most medicated. Like this guy is just a madman. The fact that he is like allowed to publish manga is like a miracle and an awful like irony of fate. This insane man who can't draw is just given like carte blanche because he is like oddly compelling in the weirdest ways.
It's hilarious too because after Kurosawa is in the car and they're just ignoring him and he's looking around going he has the brilliant idea he basically tries to pull a great teacher Onizuka. He pulls out a cigarette and he tries to be all nonchalant, right. like he's been in this situation a million times before.
And he tries to strike up a conversation. He's like, "Oh, what a nice, wonderful weather we're having," isn't it? She's like playing Fire Emblem. That's when
and they ignore him and he goes, "Oh, I am in trouble."
Yeah, like
this is bad.
That I'm being mean about the artwork, obviously. There's lots of stuff to like about his art style, and I love that page where he just says regret and has like the cool effects around his head, and I like that he brings back I hadn't seen it so far in this manga, but the like wobbly teary eye I love from Kaiji. He just makes the great faces. Yeah, his nose is very funny. Because it's like a step nose, but from the side, but then from the front he has like a crooked like Stephen Fry nose, like he got punched in the nose. It's very odd. It's like a zigzag nose.
But then the story, then the situation progresses and they do the thing where they give a catcher's mitt and they start hitting baseballs at him. Yeah. And they start breaking his bones with the baseballs.
Yeah.
Saying like if you catch one, you get $100 or
they
something
say
like that.
For each one you don't catch, you owe me 100 or 1,000 yen, like $10, I think.
Yeah, and he never really agrees to this, but
he just like what, and then start pelting him with baseballs.
But then you're not catching the most important part. Deep within his soul and his stomach. He starts to have an awakening of his inner fire and willingness to fight back, and he commits really himself going, I am gonna fucking fuck them up. I'm gonna stand up for myself. I don't care if they kill me. I'm gonna make them work for it. And he has a brief moment of fighting back, gets bashed in the head so hard that he is convinced that he almost was killed there. Because his vision gets very wobbly and his brain just is obviously not working for a couple seconds.
The middle school chick is like fucking bash his brains in, do it.
Yeah, she's the problem. She's the mean one.
Yes, it's her fault.
They're willing to just torment. Well, they're willing to just torment him. Then she's like, I'll let whoever, if you kill him, I'll let you fuck me once.
Did she say that? I missed that.
If they hit him on the head. She says that.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I was thinking he would hit himself in the head when he said that.
He did it on purpose.
Oh my god, that's genius.
I just don't know what to.
And then and then his spirit falter. Right at the moment that things are genuinely turning in his favor and he's about to get the upper hand,
he takes his pants off.
Then he breaks and falters again and he starts groveling and he's like, I'll even strip naked and grovel, just don't hurt me, not realizing that the enemies left and his friends from the work are there again. And they just look at him with his dick out like rolling on the ground.
Humiliates himself and then he refuses to put the pants back on. He's like, no, I'm going to own this and I'm gonna run and never stop running. And they're like fucking catch up with him. And then we get the most surreal scene where him and the guy is like, I refuse to look that isn't this guy the dumb McDonald's guy?
Yeah, the retarded
the
guy.
retarded McDonald's boy. It's like, I'm not gonna look down at me, so he puts his jacket over his head and they lie on the floor and then they both roll into the gutter. Like sitting there.
He starts mimicking what Kurosawa was doing.
They're like, I don't want to make you feel bad because I don't want you to freak out even more than you are. And he's like, shut the fuck up, you moron. I always hated you. And he puts a fridge on him. And he runs off. Again, more of his like retard strength. Like he just casually drags the fridge over. It's like,
I'm not sure it's the fridge. I initially also thought it's a fridge, but the other guy could lift it too. So like,
but it is a fridge. It's like a mini fridge. I guess the other guy's kind of strong from working construction. It was like a fridge someone left in the garbage, like next to some garbage bags.
Is the other guy as strong? Because he also
you don't have to be as strong to just like shift it slightly. He was kind of like underneath. He wasn't like pinned by it. He just put it like over him in the same area as the gutter, and he could have just like shifted his way out just to slow him down. That's the idea I got.
You sound like some kind of expert, Michi.
I am. I've been put in many gutters that have fridges put on me, and you can't escape. It just takes a while. Yeah, and then we get. Yeah, okay. My favorite stuff from this stretch after this horrible failure of many chapters is he comes back with the big bonk on his head, and he's like, "I went on a trip. I went on a spiritual journey, and I read this children's book, and rabbits like surviving. You know, they just live to live." And I was like, that's great. And they're like all trying to convince him, like, yeah, that's why you shouldn't go fight them. That's why you shouldn't go fight them. And he's like, no, because that's what animals do, and we're humans, God damn it. It's not that simple, so I'm gonna go fucking kill those teenagers. And while this is happening, a man behind him is having a man behind him is having a crisis of faith. And he's like, I'm 28. Is it my hormones? Ah, sheesh, I need a woman. No, I need to fight. And then it also pans over to like a middle schooler or a high schooler saying he wants to drop out. And his dad being like, God damn it, this is what life is. Put your head down and conform. And I felt strong catharsis during this chapter for some reason, where I was vibing with everyone and everyone was being influenced by the strange man shouting for no reason.
Wait, you were feeling catharsis?
Yeah, I felt more.
Were you on board with what Kurosawa was saying?
I don't think I was on board with what he was saying. I was just feeling empathy with what everyone else was feeling. Like, I felt empathy for the kid wanting to drop out because of his aimless life. I understood what the frustration the dad must have been feeling because he wanted what was best for his son. But he didn't also want to like jade his son's understanding of the world. And I felt special empathy for the guy who was my exact age, who was sitting behind Kurosawa and was being like, I feel kind of driftless and aimless in a way, and I need passion in a fight, and that's kind of what creativity is in a weird way. And he was like being inspired by Kurosawa's weird metaphor. And also the animal drawings were actually quite good. I think he should stick to drawing animals, probably.
He's doing this on purpose.
Well, when he drew the like supermodel idols, it was like horrifying. Like it kind of takes away from the argument of like, oh, it's stylized. If he wanted to draw really well, he could. I don't think he could, but he can do pretty good animals, though.
I mean, there's
some assistance. I don't know.
I'm gonna give about a 30% chance that I could do better than that, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I don't doubt that. Like, I was like, okay, come on, you're just doing like tiny mugshots. This is not so hard.
That was.
They all look very scary. They look like Junji Ito monsters. Those women.
But this is what's happening. You know, Kurosawa coming into terms with himself. It's teaching other people, you know, to believe in themselves and to beat up teenagers and get really angry at people.
I'm all
and
for kicking the shit out of teenagers. I hope it's like the Endless Jess straight out of Compton movie theater experience where he punched that fat teenager in the head and made his head bounce against the wall and get a double hit while his fat girlfriend screamed.
I have long said that what it means to be a hero is just to hurt teenagers, and I think I think Kurosawa embodies that better than any other protagonist I've seen. I won't say that he's the best at it, but
I was punched in the face by an adult as a teenager who mugged. As when I was a teenager, when I was mugged, and it made me the man I am today.
Oh no,
for better or worse. So maybe teenagers should get the shit kicked out of them more often.
He should have done it harder. He should have taken your pants too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, back to your stupid
then,
manga you love for no reason.
And then
chapter 20 was
also,
good.
Did you see that? Did you see that when I sent you, because I sent you a panel in isolation about a week ago? Did you notice that I cut off the bump on his head when I cropped it?
Yes, I did notice that.
yeah, no spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, there were good like shots of like people walking in and staring at his head, and there were just like lots of very like lingering shots of his comical bump. It did look funny.
I'm a little bummed that you're not feeling the momentum, because from my perspective, like you were probably worried that it was going to be 100 chapters of the fish scheme and him just being a bumbling fuck up on the work site. We're already awakening warrior spirits and meeting strangers in bars that you become companions with.
I don't think the rest of the manga is going to be him picking fights and kicking the shit out of teenagers. If it is, great. If he becomes Great Teacher Onizuka, or like the Masked Avenger who goes on if it becomes Inuyashiki and he murders. Or doesn't murder, sorry, just cuts everyone's spines and plucks their eyeballs out. Yeah, sure. I don't think that's what's going to happen. He's going to make some realization about how he shouldn't really punch teenagers or something, and then he's going to be sad again. I don't know. I just don't get it. I just don't understand. I don't understand why I would read this manga except for this podcast. It has some cool stuff. It has good moments. It has he's a strong character. Don't get me wrong. I just don't enjoy the moment to moment like reading of this. Normally, it's amusing to like talk about, and it is funny. And I did genuinely like chapter 20, but. Like the whole like sequence of him being drunk and getting the shit kicked out of him, I was just like, what is going on and why? And what is the point of this?
What's the point of anything?
I don't understand.
Man.
I look forward to reading Tokyo Ghoul Re every week. And I dread Kurosawa with a fear.
Let's think about this.
Okay.
What is the name of the manga?
The Legend of the Strongest Man, Kurosawa.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay. What's that mean?
Yeah, well, that's what it's about.
He's not the strongest man. He got beat up by middle schoolers. I saw it happen. The strongest man would never get beat up by middle schoolers. He would punch them, and they would die. Yes,
yeah,
he's the weakest. He's the weakest man.
Yeah, but maybe that's what it means to be strong, you know?
Okay.
You know, like fighting on in the face of absurd odds and teenagers being dumb. Maybe that's what it means.
I would rather see a complex game of rock, paper, scissors on a ship, personally.
No.
Okay.
Okay, well, you know, Michi, I won't say you'll get Kurosawa.
My name is the Lord.
You will know his name is the Lord
when I bring down more chapters upon you.
You will learn the meaning of strength.
Can't wait till the artwork gets better. Oh wait, never mind. That's not gonna happen.
Oh no, Michi's clicking. That's how bad it's getting. But we'll see. I won't say you'll love it, but I'm gonna straighten you out somewhat by the end of this.
Jesus.
Also. I almost forgot the most important part. It's actually one of the most important lines in the entire manga, if you ask me. When he's sitting down at the beginning with his new friends, where he's been a lonely, sad fuck for decades at this point, has had almost no human affection or regard from anyone. And now he's
just a slightly tolerated sad fuck instead. What an upgrade.
Yeah, but now he has like a little group of friends that are supporting him and he's going to have some adventures with. and he immediately goes to, okay, that's it. I'm going to meet some women now. 20 years of wanting friends, he gets friends, and 5 minutes later, he's already pining after the next thing.
He's let the success go to his head, man. He's drunk on.
I think
he's drunk on more than alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's extremely important to what the story is. But we'll get there.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember where I stopped when I first read it. I'm not sure if it was like chapter 24 or 29, somewhere in there.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Well, that's it for Arc to Arc. We'll see everyone next week.
No, wait, what are you talking about? We haven't done Nausicaä.
Oh, right!
You fool! You madman!
I am a fool. This is well known.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just want to say, like, I see this thumbnail and the stuff you say, and it's like, oh, this manga is so motivational and it's like uplifting. It's like, this just depresses me to no end. It depresses me more than Pun Pun. It depresses me more than anything. That's my feeling. I'm not motivated. I'm sad. Make it stop. Yes. Nausicaä is good though. Very good.
It is. I'll agree with that.
Yeah, what happened in Nausicaä, guys?
Judgment. Yeah, but I agree, it's good. But for me, I think I like these two stretches a little bit less, probably because the novelty has worn off, like my insanely good first impression. But yeah, it's still really
I think I liked it better, actually. I am the first stuff was still really good. I feel like the first was I feel like the first, as good as it was a little slowed down by the need to just establish a bunch of things and get the ball rolling.
That's true.
I feel like we had a lot of really good little character flourishes and interesting little scenes, because now we know the characters well enough. We don't have to establish who they are every, over and over again.
Yes.
I will say this stretch was really long. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, I'm considering doing maybe just one volume for the next 3 weeks.
I honestly think one would have been fine, because it was good, but there were many points where I kept looking at it going, am I not even halfway there yet? What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know if there was like more dialogue this stretch or not, because we did about the same number of pages as last time. And last time you guys were like, it wasn't too long, and I was like, okay.
That's part of it. It is extremely dialogue heavy in places.
Yeah, there was a lot of speech bubbles during this.
It's almost a book, honestly, at times.
Yeah, kind of. Yes. This stretch, I love this. I mean, I love the whole thing for different reasons, but yeah, this is like the big like Kushana kind of stretch. At least the third volume is. And she's fucking great. I forgot how good she is actually.
Continues to be good.
Yeah, but she's like you kind of think you get her just sort of in the first bit we read, and it's like, oh, I get it. She's like the hard ass, but actual like very cool commander who. She's kind of like in Princess Mononoke, the like leader of the Iron Town. She kind of like that vibe. But actually, she's.
I thought about her multiple times watching this. It's not the same person, but yeah.
No, but Kushana has like more time to shine, and she gets more complexity in these scenes. Like, there's so many good moments with her. I really like her. That was like a fun subversion, because Kurosawa, my favorite guy, he has like lines early on about like, next time I'll hold you in my arms, and it'll be like different thing. And last stretch, he like shot her off of something and like picked her up mid-fall to like force rescue her. And now here he gets like horribly mangled multiple times, and she like picks him up and he's like, "You're not dying on my watch, you bastard." And she like takes him and fucking cradles him in like a hole and is like singing while bugs go over and murder everyone. And also I wonder if Ano got Asuka's backstory from this. Like, she's also like a fiery redhead. who has a mom who's obsessed with a doll.
I didn't know she had red hair.
Yeah, she does. Especially, I'm going based on. I mean, Nausicaa kind of does too, but like they have in the movie, Kushana has like very like orange hair, if I recall correctly. Let me see here. Like if I just put Kushana, yeah, she has like this colored hair.
It seemed extremely like the Eva Asuka inspiration thingy there.
Yeah, this is definitely before that. So, but yeah, that's really. I love that scene where she like witnesses her men's death, and fucking like Mad Max, and then fucking just commandeers this entire fucking gets her squad all into gear. There was a lot of really great like combat stuff during this stretch.
Yes,
I love. It was massively impressive, like the amount of fucking humans there are. Like it like it's like even more complex than fucking Berserk. Like there's so many like, and you can actually follow it, and it's like an exciting battle. Like the waves, the way that they like ebb and flow of combat. There's like, but it also takes time to like zoom into little great moments. Like it'll just like zoom in on like the guy who like suicided himself to unclog a cannon with a grenade so that the Doroks could fire back, and we get like we get both like great like landscape shots of seeing the flanks open and widen, and then we also get like little zoom ins of like when the chocobo like runs and splatters a guy's head.
Chocobo.
Yeah, there's little chocobos they're riding on. I love that little like aside where the guy's like, "I told you not to stack the fucking ammo next to the guns, goddamn!" But they're like, "But dude, then we have to make a bigger travel." And then the fucking guy like throws a fucking grenade and a nuclear explodes an entire turret. They're like, "Yes, more." Oh, it's yeah.
I've said this before, but I don't remember any other like piece of media that just shows the pragmatism, like the cold pragmatism of war better than this. Like the scene where they fly over the first fortress and there's like this whole bunch of dead children and women and children, yes. Pointed out to Nausicaä.
This is war. Yeah. Saving those two kids doesn't like matter. Yeah, and Kurosawa has so many amazing moments during this bit where he keeps finding himself like impassioned by Nausicaa. that he's like, what am I doing? Like constantly he's like putting himself in danger. He's like, that stupid fucking brat. There's literally a moment where he runs to like help her when he falls off a guy, and then he stops mid-run and is like, what am I fucking doing? I need to go run back to Kushana. He's like, there's like bombs going off, and he's like, ah. Oh god, he's such an MVP. I love that.
I
do MVP in this stretch.
I do really like him.
Yeah, he's great.
One thing I notice about I really noticed it this time. This manga has a truly ludicrous amount of very powerful, competent, effective, clear-minded characters.
Yeah. Even I was impressed by that because even there's never like stupid stuff going on, because even the most minor like enemy guys, like when like for example when Mito's ship happens upon that enclave transporting the God Warrior, the people on board are like incredibly effective and gauge the situation like really well. Like everyone's really professional. The guy's like, oh fuck, they're firing at us. We don't want to engage in combat because like something could go fucking wrong. Let's just get higher up in the clouds. You know, like constantly that happens. Like on every side of combat, there are just very level-headed, competent people who make very logical decisions. Like the guys following Nausicaa, that's like a really. I was like getting emotional like during that chase scene where like Nausicaa breaks off mid-combat, and the guy's like, please Kushana, let us go after her because she's so fucking cool, and they form like a shield around her, and one gets like blasted through the back of the head, and she like grabs onto his armor like, let go, she's too heavy, and she holds onto his plate, and then the army is like being clever, they're like, oh, let's cut her off, and then they shoot her mount to like get her down. Like everyone is like acting in a very satisfyingly intelligent way where you don't feel like that was stupid, why did that happen? You're just like, oh fuck, this is like real fucking war combat shit going on. Everyone is doing stuff for like logical reasons. the brother just like crashes into his sister's ship and starts machine gunning them. And Kurosawa does the coolest fucking maneuver where he gets in the cockpit with no front, tells her to get in the back and launches the ship backwards and flies out and breaks all his teeth. It's like, fuck, what am I doing? Like, there's so many good moments like that during the stretch. It's fucking awesome. Yeah, it's just awesome. It's just an awesome manga.
Related, I really like how Nausicaä isn't a total peacenik, where she obviously doesn't like the war angle, but when Kushan says, listen, if you want my help, you're going to have to just help me in this battle for a little bit, Nausicaä just kind of settles down and says, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
She doesn't like the fighting, and her overall goal is to reduce the fighting, but she's comfortable with the idea of fighting for a bit if she has to, which I like that Miyazaki, again, he threads the line between being a hippie and being an idiot, where he manages to be anti-war while also being, pragmatic, like you said, and practical about war is also just part of life, and you're not going to get rid of it completely. We can have a bit of warrior ethos. We can also be crybabies who hate war and like plants. Like, we can do a little bit of both. It's fine.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. Like, it never becomes... It could so easily become annoying.
Yeah,
like, it skirts it really... Like, she even kills a guy in the combat, and then she's like... no, but she's like, fuck, I have to, like, it's better than me dying. Like, fuck, when push comes to shove, you sometimes gotta. And it also does really well, like, with it doesn't become annoying that she is like this kind of like chosen one, holy figure, because she...
A tiny bit annoying, but it's a very good.
It's a hard thing to kind of do without becoming sort of like, okay, I get it. But it's also like she does have like lots of moments where she kind of she feels like more human than just like, she's not like a perfect like holy Jesus Mary Sue kind of thing where she has moments where she like fucks up, or she like kind of
she gets munched on.
Yeah, her emotions get in the way. She gets kind of hurt. She kind of like endangers things sometimes. I mean, she feels bad that those guards died for her, because she would have fucking died.
Like a thing I was thinking when like she is like hyper active and doing like things after things, and then we get this small scene where she actually collapses from having done too much. And I'm really glad that scene is there, because I was waiting for something like that.
She's been like on the road. Yeah, she keeps like jumping on her glider, goes into a ship, fucking helps a guy who's like got a medical. That was a fucking crazy scene where the guy like spews a geyser of blood, and she like fucking mouth to mouth spits it out, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this girl has no chill.
It's fucking brutal.
It is. I legitimately love the violence. Like, not because I just like love wanton violence, but I love how it makes the war scary. Like in so much like manga, and especially like actiony things, like so many like actually horrifying weapons become like mundane. Like, it's like how in Star Wars like blasters do nothing because they deflect shit. Like, here, just like, it doesn't matter if you're like an armored elite core dude. If you just get shot through the helmet, you're fucking gone. Like, grenades are incredibly fucking savage in this. Like, someone chucks a grenade and there's fucking body parts flying everywhere. Yeah. And there's people like falling over, getting trampled on. Fucking the guy just like, people fall, like the guy at the end like falls over, just breaks his arm, and it's like, yeah, that's what would fucking happen. Like, this is fucking like very dangerous, brutal, realistic. Just shows you the horrors of war, because it's just like just groups of people running into each other, just throwing incredibly dangerous things at each other, and just getting fucking horribly maimed. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, this is terrifying. Like, yeah, this has to, the madness has to end. But they've all gone mad. They've all gone mad with miasma madness. They don't care what lengths they have to go to. People will suicide. People will destroy their own land. People will use the most scariest methods to just fucking get what they want. Everyone's out for themselves. This
part actually addresses things I was complaining about last time, which is reasons for the war. Like, one reason is just to get Kushana killed and the troops that are loyal to her, and the other one was to capture slaves. Because
their population is very low. Yeah, and they want they want slaves, and And yeah, the Dorok have their own weird agenda with their whole religious thing, and I like that thing where they like zoom away to their little camp and they've got like dancing figures and they're like hyping themselves up. Like the Miralupa is like this fucking crazy man who has to be in a vat and
Yeah, he reminds me of Darth Vader. Like I have some weird
he is kind of like Darth Vader. I didn't make that connection, but he totally is. Like he wears the helmet and he's this dark. That those shots with like her against him are very much like Luke versus Darth Vader. And I like that scene where she sees his face and he's like, "What a wretched little creature you are," and he's like, "Fuck you." I like.
We can't all be beautiful, big-titted princesses with little squirrel buddies.
Yeah, I like the decadence of the of the Dorok, where they make up for their like lack of like they're much less civilized than the what are they called, the Turmekians or whatever. But they
war like
no, but what I mean is that they reign and go through like command much more through like it's much more like through fear, because it's all like tradition, religion, hierarchy sort of thing. There's much more like revolts within them, and they will like stop at no ends. They use the bugs, they use miasma, they use the worm handlers, and their royal family is like this fucked up, decadent, like inbred, psychic, deformed weirdo family. It's very strange.
There's like a nice, interesting little through line where it's pretty much implied or said what's his name?
Miralupa. Miralupa is the emperor's brother.
His brother, that they usurped the kingdom, that they came from somewhere else, and this is also like sort of mirrored by Kushana. I mean, it's implied that that like her brothers or half brothers, I guess in this case, that they are not from the same mother. And
yeah, I think
it's emperor and stuff like that.
I think it's one of those things where they probably each have a different mother, and it's a very like king harem or different, or like Henry VIII situation maybe. That
it's the implication that royalty is like being usurped or has been usurped, and it's
all the like larger empires are like very like messed up in this, because they're all kind of descendants of old world hypocrisies and vices. And the way they've become large as opposed to being like a very small sedentary like Valley of the Wind place is through very like underhanded, control-y, freaky means.
We then see the opposite with the forest people, who also say they descended from
that's right.
Which supposedly is also connected to Nausicaä. Like I think one of the priests says that she spoke in the language of this kingdom or something.
They look
like that.
very similar too. It's possible her mother or something was like a forest person. They're all very pretty
connected in some way.
They're very. I'd forgotten about those guys, and it's interesting that like they have very. I like all the visuals to do with them, where they do like live in these big bubbles, and the worm handlers like defer to them. It's and they manage to live in the deadliest place. I'm very. One weird note I noticed was old world religions coming back. Kushana specifically mentions Valhalla in her. Yes, she mentioned when in the panel. In fact, it was the one I had pulled up earlier. When in this panel, she says, "I shall wreak vengeance upon those who squandered the lives of the Empire's finest and let them die like dogs. Watch ye from the halls of Valhalla above, that I keep my word." So that implies that, like, old Norse mythology is
survived.
Either it's the main religion or it's just known about culturally. But I would like to believe that it might just be the religion of that empire, because it is very like. It is warlike. Very warlike, and it has a lot of symbolism with like serpents, an entertaining thing, and dragons and stuff. So that would be interesting if that is their main religion, as opposed to like the emperor, the Holy Emperor's weird one that sees everything else as heretical. And then Nausicaä happens upon what seems to be an old Buddhist temple with like she doesn't recognize like the Buddha. What I think is the Buddha. That's what I took from it. And also the priests are like self mummifying, which is an old Buddhist thing, like the
in Sekiro.
Yeah, exactly. The old the Shimbutsu, I believe, is the order of like self mummification Japanese Buddhism sect. So that's I like this like survival of ancient religions in this in the new world is cool. Yes. And we also what else do we get? We get cool stuff with the creepy god warrior. I do like that origin that he just starts like growing fucking muscles and shit.
That they're not completely mechanical.
And he has like reflexes and reactions when he's in the air. He's like screeches and is like clutching and shit. Yeah, it's very. He does a good job hyping up the God Warrior throughout these first 4 volumes.
I like the new warrior priest monk whose perspective we are getting.
Yes, interesting new character. I always forget his name. It's like Shakura or something. Churaka or something. Yeah, he goes from like
Shakakuri Showdown.
I mean, a lot of this is throughout these 2 volumes. A lot like people kind of like flock to Nausicaä. Like she is able to bring people to her side from all walks of life, including a complete opposite side monk.
Yeah, I mean he tries very hard.
He constantly is like, what am I talking about? She's a fucking heretic. I need to get rid of this, but he can't help but like kind of fall under her spell. That's kind of part of her magic. Yeah, very cool. What else happened?
I think like one of the reasons why this part was like less enjoyable to read was because there is more characters that we are following, and that splits up the story sort of.
Yeah, we kind of jump between Yupa and the Absbiel or whatever he's called, and the girl. And then we cut back to Nausicaä, and that's my favorite stuff is Nausicaä and and Kushana and Kuruta. Yeah, I'm like,
I mean that's the big like the final.
That's the big stuff, and the action was all outstanding. There was great stuff. I do like that final bit too with the giant bug swarm. I wondered if those dragon bugs inspired Shadow of the Colossus, because there is a very similar boss fight. The sandworm that flies around and you grab on it. It would be entirely possible. But I do like that. I like that scene of just like the 2 nobles being like, hey, let's see if I can shoot it down and it gets swarmed. And then
I mean, okay, that's the one stupid thing that happens.
Well, but that's realistic though. Like rich nobles love nothing more than just like seeing something cool and beautiful and being like, "Ooh, I wonder if I can shoot that." Like seeing a stag in the forest and being like, "Ah, yes, let's fire a crossbow at it for no reason."
Yeah, but you would think that at this point people would know that it makes the bugs aggressive.
I guess so. At least they hadn't seen the rest of. They had not.
Didn't see any other one.
Yeah, they thought it was like an isolated one, and they were like, "I'm bored." I do love just the destruction of just like the bug swarm coming down upon the camp and just like destroying everyone, just fucking like just like you see like a guy like get his head ripped off by the bug just like flying into him, and there's like limbs flying everywhere, and then the horrifying fungus. I like that they're like I love just the build up to that where it's like, oh, it moved, and it's like, yeah, it's fine, it's cryogenically frozen. And then they just come upon this infected fucking ship flying, and on board everyone's like firing flamethrowers and being like, oh fuck, but the scientists, they still want to get samples of it. They're just such passionate fungus scientists. They just love how fast the thing is growing. They're like building more of it inside, and Nausicaä has to like throw all their samples in. And this thing is like a horrifying sentient, she calls it like the child, this horrifying abomination. It turns itself into a parachute to land. It's fucking, it's truly Lovecraftian, scary creature. There's so many horrors being built up at this point.
I vaguely, when you mentioned this manga, I vaguely remembered a certain someone saying that this was, Miyazaki's attempt to put all of his thoughts about the world and society into one complete package where you just totally get what he's after.
Like that. Yeah.
I thought that was an exaggeration. It really does feel like that, because it feels like every little area of human life is represented in some way, and you get a very unique combination of the different elements of the things he cares about.
Yeah, we see all strata of life, really. And it is interesting that he moved into movies, because with movies, it never feels like he can... It feels like he can never get that all of his stuff across, like in a 1 hour and a half, 2 hour movie, which is odd. Maybe if you put them all together. Sorry, you were going to say something else, Green. I wanted to hear what you have to say.
No, I think that's kind of it. Okay. You just get a very unique perspective that comes out of all of it, because there's so many little elements that are easy to stereotype: the environmentalism, the traditionalism, the feminism. There's so many things in here that easily could become a very crass, makes you think teenager Reddit horseshit.
The world, yeah, and he avoids that very well. He's very wise in the way. I wonder, actually. This is like in the 80s, and he's born in like the late 40s, I think. So I guess it must have been in late 30s, I would assume. I'm just lowballing it.
I just hope he's older than me. That's all I care about.
It's nice. He like, the one good thing about there being so much dialogue is that you get a lot more perspective out of the most minor of characters than you would expect to. There is no, even the most little like person, like the two kids that she gives this lady, these two kids to like hold off on. Like, we still get like a pretty good amount of dialogue and scenes from her. Like, we get to know what she thinks. Or like, we just return back to the tavern and we get like a fun scene between like the tavern owner and his daughter, where he's like, come on, let's sell that fucking thing. And she's like, no, Lord, you told me to keep it, and you're just a greedy bastard. And like, just those little details. Like, even during the what you would think would be like a big nameless army war, we constantly get like the thoughts and talks of the pilots and every little warrior and people manning the guns. They're just like, oh fuck, what's going on? Oh, I didn't put my mask on. Oh shit. Yeah, like there's so much detail. Yeah.
Just the little scene with the two soldiers who are like forging and invading that house.
Yeah, exactly. Like we just get like it just feels like it's like microscopic. Like, you're just putting a magnifying glass up to little sections of this world and being like, hey, here's what's happening here, and look at this neat thing that's happening. And maybe you wondered about that guy. Well, he got shot in the head.
And the guy next to him.
Yes.
And all the others. Yeah.
Great stuff.
I mean, it's still really good and really impressive.
You will like, it's gonna like pick up more. Still, not that it hasn't been like barreling, but
it's still like super fast.
Yeah, but it's unclear still like what it's still like building up a lot of things. It's still establishing like this fungus, the god warriors flying around. We still don't understand fully like what the two fronts of the war are kind of up to, what Nausicaä is really going to do. This prophecy thing is building more and more. In the next parts, it is more just like, this is my recollection of it, but I think the next volume is kind of continues it a bit more, and then I think the final two is just like a huge. I always think of it as like the big finale of like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood or something, where just like everything is kind of converging, and there's some fucking insane stuff still to like come. Like, there's a lot of stuff that they have not even mentioned slightly. I keep seeing like little spoilers. Yeah. Yes.
It's so big.
It's hard to say anything because it's just. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But the visuals are incredible.
Yes.
The just the control he has over the tiniest line and how that all links together.
Yeah,
how pretty everything is.
Every little square.
It's insane.
It has like, you could just take any little panel and it would be a very like a great just like one pager almost. Like and consistently, like there is no like off looking panel. You're never like, oh, this section he skimped a little, he went a little easy on the. It's like it makes total sense when you know Miyazaki as like this, his reputation for just like mulling over every frame, and like telling him like do it back again, like I want everything to be fucking perfect. Like that's the attention and care to detail he gives to every single panel. and there's constant, like, it's not just like they look good, but like the angles could be boring. It's like, no, he just has like, now this one will be like framed like this, like an outside shot. Then this one, you get like really cool like action, like poses. Like you get like really cool scenes of someone like jumping off of their mount, or doing like a cool like sword maneuver. You get like these crazy angles. The ships don't just like approach each other normally. One will be like at a weird angle, like POV, and then pivoting, and then you get like a POV of the swarm of bugs from like inside of it, and then yeah, it's just like it feels like it feels like cinematic in like an insane way, where it feels like a moving like actual animated thing. Like he has that director brain where he can just storyboard something, and when he makes the storyboards really detailed, they turn into an amazing manga too. It's unbelievable. Yeah, that's up there. Yep. I'm excited for you guys to read more. He's the GOAT.
He's the He's the greatest man.
He's up there. He's up there in terms of greatest artists for sure.
Yeah, it's hard to say anything because it's just, oh, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. I'm fine with that. I'm happy. I'm happy with that.
He's just invincible.
He is. Yeah. I can't recommend it enough times, or hardly enough. It's great. Yeah. Someone did the war reaction.
Someone did what?
Someone did like the meme of the guy with like the army, the soldier with like the 1,000-yard stare during war. That's her. that is. Yeah, someone could make like a great like what I read, what I expected, what I got. The what I got would be like a lot of things, like Payceltic. It would be like what I thought I was getting would be like Fern Gully or something. what I expected, what I got, it's like
Princess Mononoke. What I got, it's nothing. Western Front.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Okay, I think. Do you guys have any more closing thoughts?
Nausicaä is cute. I'll say that.
Kurosawa is cute. I always forget until she takes her helmet off. That I like that scene where she gets Nausicaä to put on her mail, and she's like a foot taller than Nausicaä, and she is quite cute. She makes some good faces in this. I always forget how cute she is. I like when Kurosawa gets near her and he's like, she smells good. And then they have another character say she smells good, and because she uses bug things on her, and then everyone's cool with eating bug parts, and they're like, living with bugs is actually awesome. And I don't appreciate it because bug eggs are among the most disgusting things in the world. If you ever found like a nest of like where a bug has like laid a bunch of pods, it is gross. But cool. I'm not the chosen one clad in blue Omu blood. So
you cannot lead the Omu to water and make them drink.
Yeah. Huge body count. Just gonna say it might be up there in like terms of manga. Like we see so many. Just the village where like everyone drank the poison spore water. There's just fucking
and the other ones committed suicide.
The other ones all committed suicide by going into the thing. Like there's in the thousands probably of depicted corpses. Not just they tell you how many people died. It's like you see it. It's up there.
I mean, it's just a straight up war story.
It is. It's like a massive. Yeah, it's literally like a world war that is happening. It's like the trench thing. I was very happy to see foot combat because we got plenty of aerial combat in the first part, and we still got some here. I was really happy to see. Yeah, not just trenches. We see like barricades, bombardments, cavalry charges. I like the cavalry charge past them and then drop grenades behind them. There's like constant changing tactics. You really see why Kushana is like a respected general.
A plan to steal like all the transport ships.
That was funny too. They just like run in, cause havoc, and then everyone runs in, and even one of them even shoots another guy. He's like, "Sorry, dude, but I'm getting shipped." Yeah, her asshole fat brother gets fucking killed. Hell yeah. I marvel at the manga. I marvel at it. I feel strong emotions just witnessing this, just being like, we're never getting one of these again. Miyazaki, before you die, please stop making movies and make another manga, please.
Make manga again.
Make a huge manga. I love it. Yeah. Nausicaä forever.
Make Nausicaä again, even if it's the exact same thing, just to prove you can still do it.
Fuck. Yeah, and Kurosawa really is the man. I also like the scene where he just like she just like gets called in, and Kushana is like confronting him on shit and like pointing a gun at him, and he just like puts the gun on the table and it's like, listen, you know, I may be a duplicitous, cowardly, not even cowardly, but yes, like slinking guy who thinks he's smarter than everyone. But you know, when push comes to shove, I'm there with the best of them. And yeah, I'd rather stay with you and stay alive than continue orders. So
one minor thing he did that I thought was great, when Nausicaä is using her super senses to tell that something's happening, and she tries to warn him, there's no extended scene of him going, "Why should I trust you, you little bitch? Take your big tits and get out of here." He just goes, "Oh, okay, I'm going to use this information and be careful and avoid the problem." And,
yes.
He always has the reasonable reaction to everything. Well, he never has the high-minded "I'm better than you" stupid thing. He always just does what makes sense. Like he's seen enough shit to know how it works.
Yeah, his goal is just like survive no matter what. Like, I'm in a fucked situation where everyone expects me to die, kind of like Kushana is. I'm just gonna do my best to survive. And there is a funny moment there where she warns everyone to put masks on because she senses the miasma because how crumbly the trees are. And he's like, "What is she rattling on about, man? Shut her up!" And then the men are already putting masks on. He's like, "Hey, goddammit, he's lost control of his men to her." Because their moral story is everyone follows cute girls. Like, there's nothing more inspirational, more motivating than a cute girl. Yeah, like Kushana or Nausicaä can inspire the greatest loyalty.
I do find it hilarious how the sides are just switching constantly, to the extent it almost doesn't matter who's on what side most of the time. But it doesn't feel forced or silly. It always makes sense.
The same sides like fight against each other. Like, will shoot at their own troops at many times during the story. Like, they'll just be like splinter groups will break off, command will change, everyone will be in chaos, different tribes in the same side will fight each other. Like, it's a free-for-all.
It also seems like all the different factions have people in it that are savvy enough to know there is a bigger problem.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's always the people that want to just be brain dead and bash towards the enemy without thinking, but then there's always the slightly wiser person going, "Yeah, I'll fight the enemy, but you know, later."
Well, nothing goes like elegantly. That's why it's such a realistic depiction of war, because the people who are far back in their homelands in this war, like the Holy Emperor in the Dorok Principality in the Holy City of Shua, or the Emperor of Kushana's dad, like, who are far back. They're like commanding this war from so far back. They're like giving these orders, and stuff takes so long to relay, and stuff can go wrong so easily. Like, constantly, like ships can just like fuck up and crash into each other. You can not recognize an ally or an enemy. Bugs can just show up. Miasma can spread too far. The tactics that people are doing can like backfire or go sideways. People can like desert or change allegiances or have squabbles between them. It's just like it's a big fucking mess that both sides cannot pull out of, and they just have to like trudge toward each other no matter how much death and disaster it causes. Like it is just like a chaotic mayhem of a horrible war, and no one really wants it to happen, but everyone has to continue or be crushed or be swept by it anyway. Like, it's truly horrible and amazing
theme.
Yes. And also, Mirolupa is cool because he has a mask with 3 eyes, and he's like, "I'm a psychic boy. Let's go."
He's a decaying, decrepit man.
Yeah, well, you know, you gotta pay a certain price for psychic powers. You gotta get into your little tank.
Yeah, at least he's getting fucking powers for it. What are we getting?
We also get powers.
Oh
Yes.
right, yeah, I do have powers. I forgot.
Yeah, some people have the
my-
powers without having to live in the septic tank.
In the
Yeah,
septic tank, that would kill you.
Yes.
Final, the back to tank. My final
Yeah.
thought: the density of the information. It's always a little trying. Just there's always a bit of friction there. Of you have to slow down and be careful and read everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of words per speech bubble. Really.
This is done as good as it possibly could have been without just not doing it. For the amount of it's a very consistent pressure. It's kind of like walking and someone has their arm on your shoulder and they're just like gently pushing you sideways as you walk down the street where you don't even notice. It's always there, but he keeps it at the exact level where it doesn't piss you off. He does as much info dumping as he can without making me mad.
Yeah, it's really as an exercise in like equilibrium, really. Like so many things could be the thing that keeps it from being just right. It is kind of like a weird miracle lightning in a bottle scenario that will never happen again, probably. Very, very amazing. Well, we finished the first fucking hardback, so time for number 2.
Bring me my second volume.
There was
You're not allowed to reference that.
There was a brief moment of terror where I saw the error message and I thought, oh god, no, the file's corrupted, it's not over, I have to go find a new one. Then I realized, oh, it's the end of the volume. Yay!
You did it. Yes.
Oh.
Woohoo.
Okay. Are we done?
Yeah, I think so. We did it. I'm happy. Yay.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop.
And